Alright, so here is my output. So in that web page, so I can create some simple React application using that Google Gemini API actually. So in that, I have a two options: AI with the text and AI with the image. So if I put some food related name, so that related foods along with the price that generative AI will create, and it will be written to that under the bottom actually. So for example, so I can just type that burger, and so in that, if I click the search, let it's loading. All right. So you can see that output, that classic cheeseburger and a BBQ bacon burger. So and all the related with that burger and along with that prices. So it will be returning that from that Gemini API. So it's crazy, right? So and the next thing, so I have a AI with the image, and so in that, so I'm gonna just open that. I'm gonna click that some burger image, and that image it's going to describe that actually. So let me check. So if I click the search, as you can see that result, that photo shows the cheeseburger, caramelized onion, and lettuce side of red wine actually. So it's very detailed because the red wine is blurred and the full focus in that burger only actually. But that our Google Gemini, it can easily to capture that along with that red wine and a plate of burger with the red onions, and along with that two layers of cheese and a lettuce. So all those things it will be captured and it will be clear it out actually. So it's crazy, right? So this is how in that video we are going to show that, and don't skip that video. Let's see how to create a application using React with the Google Gemini. Let's deep dive into that. Alright, so let me open that VS Code. So here is my VS Code workspace. So in that I didn't create any project over there. So the first thing, we need to create our first React API app actually. So in that I want to just type that npx create React app, and so in that I gonna type Gemini meal app. So I can just type it. If I enter that, so now that app is be creating. So it will be taking some time. Let it create. All right, so now it's created. So here is my Gemini meal app, and in that I can just enter my project, and just let me clear it out. And the first thing, we need to install that Google Generative AI package in my existing React.js application. So here's the code: npm install Google Generative AI actually. So if I enter that, it will be started to installing. All right, so now it's installed. So the next thing, and if I go into the package.json, so here is the thing, that Google Generative AI along with that some necessary dependencies in my React application actually. All right, so let me clear that console. And the next thing, we need to go to the src. So under the src, so I have a code base. So in that I can create a own component folder. So first thing, I can maintain that components under the components folder. So under the components folder, so I can create a AI with image.js actually. So in that, so this file will it manage all the that Gemini Pro version, Gemini Pro vision model. It will be managing that, and also I have a text base also, right? So I can create AI with text.js. So I can create that, and so let me start the coding part. So the first thing, we need to import that necessary models, React and useState, along with the generative AI, that library. After that, so I can create a one constant function. So over there, so in that thing, so I can first creating that constant gen AI and the Google Generative AI. So I can paste my API key over there as well actually. And the next thing, so we need to defining that states actually. So that search and response and loading, so all those things I can set it over there. And the next thing, we need to make a generative AI call and text the fetch insights actually. So in that part, let me put my function that called ai.run. So here is the function. So in that function, that set loading true and a response. And here is the thing, the gen AI and a get generative model along with the Gemini Pro model I can call it. And after that, my command is random meals related to what we had to search and that category and that images and the prices as well actually. So the AI will decide the price as well actually. And once I getting the result or response, from the response I'm getting the text, and that text I can send it to the response, set response, and it will be setting the loading as a false actually. So it will be very much responsive. And the next thing, we need to handle the search option as well actually. So once I completed that function, so the next thing, I can type that handle change search actually. So in that search, so I can make it as a search e dot target value actually. So if I enter something, that value will it go to the search, and that search will it come to the AI run actually. So the next thing, we need to handle that submit button actually, that handle click actually. So that once the handle click is executed, that AI function will it run actually. So this is how will it work. And the next thing, we need to put some HTML things, that is the designing things. So in that, I can put here some written statement along with some HTML files over there. So in HTML data, so in that I can create a one dev, and in that, that's searching that food category. So I'm using some inline CSS along with, because it's just simple application. So search a food using the generative AI. So in that, once I get the changes, that data will it go to the handle change search. And after that, that on click should be a handle click will it call actually. So this is the handle click, and this is the handle change search actually. And after that, so I can put some loading message over there. So once the loading is done, so then AI response will it comes actually. So that AI response will it come from the this AI dot run actually. So that's the thing all about that these things actually. And the next thing, we need to finally export with that module. We already created that this module, so that export default AI with the text actually. So this is all done with the AI with the text.js. And the next thing, we can go to the AI with image.js. Alright, coming to the AI with the image.js. So the first thing, we need to import that some necessary application, so necessary modules, yeah, React and Google generative AI and get base 64, because we going to get all the images from the base 64 thing. Yeah, so in that, so I need to create this module get base 64 help from the helper function actually. So what I need to do is, so I'm going to create some helper function under the src. So I can just create a helper folder, and under that, so I am gonna create some image helper.js actually. So all right, so from the image helper, that it will what it exactly do is, so it will be reading the image and convert as a base 64 actually. So here is the code, and in that, generate const get base 64, and once I get the file, so it will be reading the file, and it will be reading as a data as URL, and after that it will return the result actually. If anything got an error, so it will return the error as well. So this is all what we need to do. So all right, so from the helper function, we'll import that image helper file actually. And the next thing, we need to create here some as usual, we need to create that Google constant with AI image function. So that AI with the image, and under that, so we need to first install that what we exactly did in the text basis. So same thing, I can use that Google generative AI class along with that API key as well. And the next thing, we need to initialize all the states, so that image state and image inline data and AI response and the loading. So these are all the things we can just defining the states as well. And the next thing, so we need to create a function called AI image run actually. So this is what we are going to do. So in that, so as in sync function AI image run. So in that we can just setting that states and the model equal to Gen AI under the generative AI model. So we are going to call that Gemini Pro Vision actually. So after that, under that category level, so under that content level, what is in this photo, and also I can just pass that image as well. And once I get the response from the AI, Gemini AI, it will be returning the response. That response will read as a text actually. So this is what it will be work. Alright, the next thing, we need to, same as we need to handle the click and handle the image changes as well. So in that, it's a straightforward thing. So we can create a handle click function. If that submits button is clicked, so that AI image function will return actually. And the same thing, we need to handle that image as well actually. So in that, we need to convert that image as a base 64 actually. So in that, I'm gonna just create a function called handle image change. So under that, once I get the file, so here's the file. So that file will it go to the pass to the helper JS file. So and after that, it will be converting as a base 64. So that base 64 will it go to the file to generate part. So that function we needs to create, and so let me create that function. So here is the function files to generate part. So this function will it read the file, and will it return as a data URL actually. So and the next thing, it will be returning as a base 64 encoded data promise, and as a inline data that dictionary actually. So this is all about that handling the image as well, and we need to create some HTML things. So in that HTML file, So in that HTML level, so I can just create some return statement, and under that using some inline, and that first after the uploading that image, that image will it go to the handle image change function. So after that we will create a submit button, search button. So in that handle click is a search button actually. So once search button is clicked, the handle click function will it execute. So this is the handle click, and once the handle click is clicked, then AI image run will be go actually. So this is what will it work, and after that that loading will continue. Once response is getted, then the AI response will it get executed. So this is all about that will it work actually. So it's crazy, right? So it's a very simple step with we need to create some two files, AI with image and AI with the text, along with the image helper.js actually. And the next thing, we need to create here some navigation bar as well. So already you see that output, right? So in that under that navigation bar will be there. So I can create here some nav bar. Oops. Nav.js. So under that, the first thing we need to create some modules, React, Navlink, and the routes. So under the routes, I can slightly I can creating modules actually. So here is the thing, and I can create a nav bar, and under that, so I can using some under list. So under that list, so what are the path I can create, that path will it append over the under the nav bars actually. So this is all should be a generic module. So this is how we need to create, and after that that route name will get append actually. So for example, home, about, and that menu, price, and a random generate name actually. So all those things will it comes over there. So it's all should be a generic actually. Alright, so the next thing, we need to create some pages, HTML pages actually. So I'm gonna creating some folder called pages. So under that pages, so I'm gonna create home page actually, home.js. So in that home.js level, so in that home.pages level, so we have here two things, right? AI with image and AI with the text. So these are the are independent components. So that component I can implement under that home.js as well actually. So the first thing, I need to include that two components, AI with the text and AI with the image. And after that I gonna just include those two things under the home thing, AI with and set AI with. So in that, so I'm gonna create some return function. So in that function, oops. So in that function, so I'm gonna create here some return statement called a generative AI restaurant app. So build with React, Redux, and the Google Gemini as well actually. So in that, so based on that will it work actually. So we have here two options with AI with the text or AI with the image. So two buttons will have. So based on that button, will it go to the, if that AI with the text is there, then AI with the text component will it show, or if it is AI with the image is there, so then AI with the image text the component will it go actually. So this is how that home page will it work, and finally I can just export that this home page actually. Alright, now home page is ready. So the next thing is we need to create some additional pages like random meal generator. And so in that I'm gonna create some additional page, one of the page, so meal generator dot js actually. So here is the meal generator js page, and under that, so I'm gonna import some of the basic things actually. So here is the things, so some Redux and some API based thing, that API URLs and Axios and React. So these are things I can create. And the one more thing, so we need to add some favorite slices as well actually, that add to favorites button, like that we need to add that. So for that I can create some states actually. So that's why I can go to the src folder. So I can create folder called state actually. So in that state I can create two folders called slices and store actually. So in that, so slices, and also I can create a folder called store, like local storage, like that actually. So under that slice folder, so I can create some favorite slice.js actually. So in that favorite slice.js, yeah, so here is the file. So in that I can use that some Redux. So in that Redux, so I can initialize that state, and so if anything favorites is added, so that favorites will it go to this array actually. So this is how will it works. So add to favorites and remove to favorites. So I have two things I just added, and I just exported that add to favorites and remove the favorites from the favorite slices section, and so it should be a states actually. So all right, so the coming to that main page, sorry, that meal generator page. So I can add this module under that favorite slice actually. So all right, so the next thing, we need to create a page for that meal generator. So here is the thing, and so in that I can create some two states, meal and a set meal and a dispatch, and in that effect level fetch random meal. So in that it will be directly go to the, so in that I just calling that this API based URL. So this API based URL I already have a config.js file. So this is the one API that the mealdb.com. So under that, so that all the food details will it there under this API actually. So this is also one URL. So I can just simply call that random.php, just a API endpoint. So every time if we going to this meal generator page, so at the time that meal when some meal will be suggest actually. So this is how that meal generator will it work. All right, so in that, so I can just call the handle favorites. So meal marked as a favorite, and that particular it will be returning that some fetch random meal, right? So that meal will it add to the favorites in the Redux actually. And here is the HTML page random meal generator. And so in that, once the meal is comes, so that image along with that will go and will show us a cart title and a cart text. And so if we click as a favorite, so a button called as a mark as favorites actually. So and finally we will just export that meal generator thing actually. So this is the all about that meal generator page. And the next thing, we'll be creating a next page called meals.js and a menu and a favorite. So these are the things we need to add. Let me do. All right, so I just created them all the pages, so I just skipped. So I can just show that what I do. So in that first thing, that favorite pages, so in that favorite pages level, so I can call that remove from favorites actually, because we already in that marked as a favorite we do, right? So all the favorited foods are comes there in the favorite page only. So if we need to remove that, so the remove from favorites slices, we just call that. So under that, so if we click that handle remove favorites button, so meal removed from the favorites, so that will it work actually. And the HTML is also the same. So all the favorites meal will it there under that under the function. So if I click the remove from favorites, so automatically that particular meal will it get delete actually. And after that, if all the things will it get delete, so at that time we will just return that no data like that actually. Under that meals.js level also the same. So we can just all the navigation we can just over there and add it to favorite slices, we just include that. So in that, in the menu level, all the food items will be there actually. So we already have here the mealdb.com API. So from that we will get all the food details and the categories and all those things wise. So if I click any one of the mails, so that particular meal details will it get there actually. If I click that favorite button, so the particular meal will it get add in that favorite page actually. So this is all about in that page, and finally I'll show that complete output. So we'll see actually. So here is the thing, and that next thing we can add the app.js and app.cs changes actually. So here is my app.js file. So under that, so I can just simply call the app router, and I just initialize the app router app and I just exploded that actually. So all right, so this is all about the React. And the next thing, finally we need to set that router configuration, and we'll set the router configuration. So here is my router.js. So under that, so I can import all the things: navbar, home, about, and menu, meals, favorite, meal generator. So all those things I can create a router, and I can put here some APIs that endpoint also for that actually. So each for example, if I click about, that about me page will call, and a menu, if I click that menu will call favorites, so the favorites component will call. So each that based on that endpoint will it work actually. Okay, so alright then, so let's run the code actually. So you will get an understand so what we developed actually so far. So alright then, so I can just open that terminal, and so in that terminal, so I can just create in type npm start as well actually. So if I start this app, now that React Meal app will start it actually, and we'll wait for that. Now it's loading. Yeah, so here is all the pages like home page and about me page and a menu. So in that menu, from that that mealdb.com, so from that I can get all the mails details actually. So this is all about these things, and my favorites. So if I click that some beef related, if I click that some oyster pie, so it will be marking as a favorites. And if I go to that, so here is the thing, beef oyster pie is my favorite actually, and I can just click the remove favorites, so nothing will there. And if I click the meal generator, every time I can get that some random thing actually. So nutty chicken curry, and if I go to the about me and again I come to the meal page, so split pea soup, and if I go back with that my favorites, and if I click that carrot cake will it there actually. So it's crazy, right? So all right, the next thing I can go to the home page. So here is my AI with text and AI with image, so both are different components. So in that, so I can type chicken 65, so I can just type it, and if I search that, so now that data will it go to the Gemini API, and that Gemini API will it get and analyzing it, and the model will return that response actually. All right, so the related thing level, chicken 65 and chicken 65 biryani and that Manchurian and that all those things, the pakora and that mostly Indian related things will it there actually. So including the price is also, it will be just returning. And the next thing, so yeah, with images there. So if I click that choose file and I have a burger, so if I click that search, so at the time it will be written that a cheeseburger with a caramelized onion, lettuce, and a side of red wine. So all those things will it written actually. So it's crazy, right? So this is all about that about in that React application. So this completely project I can add it in my Git repo, and that repo link I added in the description below. You can check it out and you can play with that as well actually. And so this is all about you guys. So hope you really like that video. If you really like that video, please subscribe my channel for more videos like this in the future. And also, if you have any queries or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I'm happy to respond, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.